Welcome to the Grow Strong Leaders podcast. I'm your host, Meredith Bell, and I interview business leaders who are committed to their own growth and the development of everyone on their team. If you enjoy my podcast, be sure to subscribe and rate it on your favorite podcast platform. Welcome back to another episode of the Grow Strong Leaders podcast. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you an idea that is going to help you appreciate every single person in your world. Now, you might find that a little hard to believe as you think about the person who tends to take up more real estate in your mind than you would like, someone whose behavior or words tend to irritate you or annoy you, or even worse. But I'm here to tell you there is a way to transform those negative emotions that you associate with that person into a strong feeling of appreciation for them. And to kick things off, I have a quote that I would like to share from one of my very favorite books. It's called The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. And this quote is from chapter 7 on attitude. Listen to it carefully and absorb what he is saying. What appears to be solid reality is actually the result of expectations or assumptions. The assumptions we make determine not only what we see, but also what we do. Others only echo that which we whisper to them in secret. Think about that. What we think about someone else and the attitude we bring to our interactions with them, they sense it at some level. We whisper it to them in our energy that we bring. So what if we could bring a different kind of energy to these exchanges? So what I want to share with you today is actually not my own original idea. It's something I learned more than 10 years ago from a podcast that I listened to. And it was a conversation between Joe Polish, one of the hosts, and his co-host, Dan Sullivan, who is the CEO of Strategic Coach. In this conversation, Dan Sullivan talked about what he has learned around the word appreciate. He has this huge Oxford dictionary. He loves studying words and the meaning of words. And to him, there were two different definitions of appreciate that had meaning for him when it comes to his interactions with others and his valuing of others. So the first definition had to do with thinking about in a war time when a scout was sent out to appreciate the opposition, to understand the significance of what they were doing and be able to report that back. The other aspect of appreciate that we think of more often is around something appreciating in value. So we might think of real estate or the stock market or gold, other tangibles that we see go up in value. And so what Dan drew from both of those was, what if we could apply this to the people in our lives where we can come to appreciate them and see them as appreciating in value? Now, if you're thinking of the one person that tends to perhaps annoy you the most, you may think, well, but you don't know X, you don't know this person. No, I don't know that person, but I certainly have had different individuals in my life who have required me to stretch in order to communicate with them and to get along with them. And What Dan recommends is really practical and it works because I've done it. Here's what he does. Before he meets with someone, whether he's having a meeting with somebody in his company, a potential or an actual client, doesn't matter. He will take time, if he knows the person, to write down 8 things that he appreciates about that person. What that does is it prepares him for the conversation. So he has come to appreciate them in his own mind. He has an understanding of their value to him in terms of who they are, what they've done, not what they've done for him, but who they are and what they've accomplished in the world and the value that they bring to him and to this conversation. Now, what that does is it sets him up to have an attitude of appreciation about them as soon as they come up, walk in the door or get on a call with him. And he's not doing this in order to tell the person, here are the things that I appreciate about you. He's doing it to prepare his own mind. So the way he interacts with them conveys to them, you matter to me. Who you are is important. You know, every human being has the need to be valued and appreciated. And so if we can bring to our conversation with another person that attitude that you matter, and the way we interact with them elevates them in some way, it affirms who they are, it affirms their value. Not only are we gaining an appreciation for them, but guess what else happens? They elevate themselves in their own mind. They come to value themselves more. Imagine as a leader, or as a parent, or as a spouse, or as a business partner, where you are coming to every conversation with that kind of appreciation for the other person. Imagine what that could do to transform the way you interact with that person, as well as the impact it would have on your relationship going forward. Think back to someone who has seen that in you. And when you interacted with them, you felt like when you left that conversation, you stood a little bit taller. You walked a little bit prouder because you sensed their belief in you. You have that same power to do that with every person you encounter in your life. And if you'll do this, especially with those people that in the past have been a source of irritation or frustration for you, and you turn it around and start looking at ways that you appreciate them and value them and realize their importance to you, I guarantee you that over time, they will respond differently to you and your interactions will be different. And you will feel differently towards them. And you know what else? You'll feel differently about yourself because you'll realize you have the capability to make these adjustments in your own mind about your beliefs towards another person. And it will impact your belief in yourself. What a great gift that will be for you and that other person, and actually for every person that you interact with. So my encouragement for you for this session is to reflect on just one person where you could change the way you interact with them by demonstrating in your own mind an appreciation for them, and then in your interactions with them, demonstrating that appreciation. I would love to hear from you when you do this and let me know what impact this has had on you and your relationship with that other person. Till next time, I'm Meredith Bell, and I wish you well in appreciating yourself and every other person in your life. Thanks for tuning into my podcast. Now head over to growstrongleaders.com and check out the powerful tools we've created to help leaders strengthen their character and communication skills. Until next time, I'm Meredith Bell.